All ferrets are different, but one thing is universal. They poop. A lot. And if you don't clean it up daily, your home will start smelling like Satan's sock drawer. Whether you use kitty litter, puppy pads, or old newspapers, you're going to go through loads, and that gets expensive. That's why I made the Floofer Pooper. In this video, I'm making DIY reusable pee pads. And to be honest, this could save money for any pet owner that uses a litter tray or puppy pads. Then I'll be testing them for a full week to report back from the front lines of the ferret poop zone. Will my floofs accept their new bathroom decor? Will the pads hold back the poonami? Will I lose my mind trying to master the sewing machine?
It's all bunged up.
And will my washing machine survive the trauma? We're about to find out. And for anyone who isn't keen on getting elbow deep in floof poop, I have a bonus tip at the end, a much cheaper way to do disposable puppy pads. Let's get into it. This all started with a brilliant comment on my post about switching from wood chip litter to paper pellets. Triton Volant, you are an absolute genius. They said, just sew together old towels and scraps of fabric. Easy, cheap, dries fast, and best of all, ferret approved. So let's step through the process together, and I'll recap at the end with 4 things I wish I knew when I started, so you don't have to go through that pain. First stop, a charity shop to get some fabric, and of course it was raining. Can someone please invent windscreen wipers for glasses? I'm planning a 3-layer pad with absorbent towel in the middle, sandwiched between a smoother fabric that won't catch in their claws and get yanked out of the litter tray. Then, because these are going to be washed a lot, I'm putting some piping around the edge to prevent the seam from fraying, and also to give it structure and some stiffness so the pads remain lying flat in the tray. That's the theory. For the outer layer, I was looking for something soft to soak up the pee, but not so soft it would look like a comfy nap spot.
That one is nice and absorbent feeling.
At $4.99, this brushed cotton double duvet cover is just the ticket.
So here's the loot, this double duvet cover. I had a stack of towels, and then this piping I actually bought a couple of years ago for another project, which I never got around to doing. I have my dusted down my sewing machine, which I have not taken out of the box for about 2 years, since we made the hammock project, which the video will be linked there.
Plus I have a basket of threads and everything else we'll need. Next job, measure up the trays. The great thing about making your own pads is you can cut them to exactly the size you need. I'm making a stencil out of bubble wrap because, well, ferrets on bubble wrap is always an entertaining side quest. I'm going to use the pads in the litter trays since the floofs already know that's where to go, and it means I don't need to worry about waterproofing the bottom layer. And because I don't want to run the washing machine constantly, I'm making 30 pads, enough to change all 3 pads daily and do 1 weekly laundry run. Just call me an artisan of the bum zone as you enjoy the build montage. So I cut and I sewed. And I sewed and I cut, day and night, for a couple of hours each session all week. I tacked the layers first, then ran a straight seam about 1 centimetre from the edge. Next up, cut a new straight edge so all 3 layers are flush. Then I broke out the overlock foot to sew edge seams and stop the fabric fraying. This bit took way longer than I thought it would, and my living room was covered in towel crumbs while I worked. But eventually they were done. minus the piping idea, because honestly, if I had to do another round of sewing, I'd have lost the will to live. But I think these will do. The big question is, was it worth the effort, or will my noodles revolt at the change?
Good girl. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the dawning of a new era. So there we have it. Pea pads duly installed. And the only thing that remains to be seen is whether or not the ferrets leave them in flat to be used, or decide that they're no longer for peeing in and pooping in and find somewhere else to pee and poop. That is not promising, but I suppose they'll get used to them. Scruffles. There's bound to be a period of transition where they have to get used to them being there and them not be the latest novelty to be explored. I just hope they don't take to peeing somewhere else instead and pooping somewhere else instead. Would you do that, Zozo? Would you do that to Mummy? You wouldn't, would you? Place your bets now. Right, let's see the results. It is currently a heat wave here in the UK. That one has been used. This one, they seem to have decided to kick that out of there again. And I think it might be because of the weather, because they've been looking for cool places to lie, and maybe back there is a cool place to lie. But they haven't used this one, so what I might do is just leave it out. This one, a little bit more of a disaster. It seems to have been kicked up and they've pooped in the tray. Oh, and they've pooped outside of the tray. So this one, not such a good result. But that is it. So altogether, not a bad result. Good first night. We'll see what happens on night 2. It is 29 degrees out today, and I've been cooling the ferrets all day. They've been outside, so there isn't actually much poop in here. Zori's got the squits at the moment. I'm dealing with it. But that one's been kicked up this time. Down here, that one hasn't, but it's only got 2 poops in it. No poop there this time. That has remained intact, and that one has remained intact. A couple of other developments. I now have a bin for the dirties. And also, I kind of had a bit of a revelation. Day 1, when I cleaned out the tray that had been splurged on, I used a kitchen towel, and that kind of defeats the whole objective. And also, I was going to scoop their poop into there, but that attracts a lot of flies. So new plan, instead, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll them up with the poop inside it, use the unpooped side to wipe any places that I need, and then on cleaning day I'm just going to take all of the rolled up nappies, if you like, almost from there, pull off the hard bits, throw them directly into the bin, and then give them a hose before I stick them in the washing machine. So that's the new plan. It should actually be less work, and we'll see how that works when it comes to cleaning day. That one's remained flat, no errant poops up there, and couple of poops in there. That has also remained flat. That one, just a little bit of an overspill there, a bit of a flip up, and this one, also good. It's all pretty painless. We'll wait and see if I still feel that way when it comes to wash day. Oh, there's been lots in there today, and lots in here too. All there. There does seem to be an errant bit of poop there, but I feel like that might have been a hanger-oner as somebody was getting out. Another easy cleaning up job for me today. Roll the burrito.
All in all, it seems to have worked out brilliantly.
Poop burrito!
There's a lot less clearing up of kitty litter particles, which tend to get flung around the cage like confetti.
And into the burrito bin with you. Now that is looking quite full.
But now the last and most crucial part of the test. The clean and wash. Because I don't want to give my washing machine PTSD, I'm scraping them all down first to clear the worst of it. As I worked my way through the bin, I spotted fly eggs in a couple of the juiciest poops. And towards the bottom of the bin, there was one with newly hatched maggots in it. Ugh. so I will definitely be on the lookout for fly eggs in future and deal with those poops straight away. With the worst bit over, it's time for the hot wash at 60 degrees. All fresh and clean, and only one casualty where the seam wasn't sewn very well, but that is salvageable with another run through the overlocking machine. These will all dry nicely in time for when the stack runs out, and I am really pleased with the results. Less mess than the litter trays, quicker to clean up daily, and it's going to save me a decent amount. For the Floofer poopers, I spent £4.99 on fabric. The towels were old and unused for many years, so I'm just glad to have them out of the cupboard. And the cost of running the washing machine plus detergent once a week is about 70p. If these Floofer poopers last me a year, it will have cost £21.40 all in. Compare that with a 30-litre bag of kitty litter at £14.72 every 5 weeks. That's an annual poop clean-up cost of £153.09. So, big win for the Floofer poopers. I promised to give you the inside scoop if you're making these yourself. So what did I learn? 1. Use a roller cutter and a ruler. It's so much easier to make straight edges across 3 fabrics, and a straight edge makes the seaming process much easier. Also, rounding the corners slightly makes for a neater finish. By the way, does anyone else make such stupid faces when they're sewing? Number 2, they don't have to be perfect. With this many items to sew, you can't get hung up on perfectly straight and even seams. And forget about fancy piping. As long as the pads hold together in a hot wash, you're good to go. After all, they are only for pooping on. Keep your fingers away from the needle. Yes, I did have one accident, but the needle only went through the side fleshy part of my finger, and luckily it wasn't threaded at the time. 4. The poop burrito, otherwise known as the purito. Rolling the used pads up and using them to wipe down the tray saves additional expense on paper towels. But look out for fly eggs, which look like tiny white dashes in the poop, and get rid of those poops immediately to avoid turning your poop bin into a maggot hatchery. Now, I realise not everyone is happy to go elbow deep in poopy pads, so you might want to stick with the disposable ones. But here is a great tip to save you some money. Like all products made for pet care, puppy pads can be quite expensive. They're also infused with a scent to encourage dogs to pee on them, which has no effect on our sentient sock monsters. Instead, pick up some incontinence bed pads designed for humans but perfect for noodles. They're cheaper and come in a range of sizes so you can find the best to fit your space. The only downside, they arrive in a box proudly announcing what's inside. So yeah, your postie might think you've got bladder issues, but we can't have everything, can we? Do you think you'll give the Floofer poopers a try? Drop your own noodle bathroom hacks in comments and join us in the community hub to post your own pics. Who knows, maybe I'll feature your idea next. See you soon, Floof Crew.